This video may be hard to understand, and some people may look at me differently after this, and that's okay. Because if you can't accept my past, then obviously you can't be in my future. So if you do know me and you see me differently after this, then I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. And some people will understand and get where we're coming from, but please know that we are not the same people anymore. We've both grown and learned from our mistakes. It took a lot for my dad to learn, and I caught on in life very quickly, but if you want to continue watching this video, I've already gave you a fair warning that you may not understand where we're coming from, and if you do, then I hope you enjoy the video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today me and my dad are doing a video about our life and a question and answer video as well. This is my dad.
What's up?
His name is Ruben, aka Sonic.
Hi.
So we're gonna tell you a brief little story about us and our life. Papi, how old were you when you had me?
I was 15 years old when I had you.
Bro, you were 14.
Okay, no. Oh yeah, I was 14 years old. No? Yeah, I was 14 years old. That's right, you were. It was because you were in December.
Yeah.
31st. I was 14 years old. 6 days later, I turned 15 years old.
And mommy was 14. Where did you and mommy meet?
Your mom, I met her in a neighborhood called Love Field, where we grew up, where I grew up. She was walking down the street. She was wearing some green bottoms. And I was like, okay, well. And she's like, eh? And I was like, what's up? And she's like, what's up? So I said, what's up? And she gave me her number and we started talking. And
sounds like a love story.
It was a perfect love story. Nah, she was pretty cool. She was my first love, and we had you. When I first found out she was pregnant, I actually told her mom to get on her head and do her stomach like this, and rub her stomach 3 times. Because supposedly my boy had told me that would make the baby come out, but it didn't happen. So
that's how you know they were too young.
Yeah, we were young. We were hella young. I basically freaked out, like any other teenager, man. I'm 14 years old, and my whole life is just gangs and drugs and making money and doing crazy shit, and now I'm about to be a dad, so I'm like, damn. Most of my friends, like, it was kind of normal, I guess, in a way, because all my friends were all my age, were having kids. Everybody was having kids. It was like crazy. It's like, hey, your girl's pregnant. Oh shit, your girl's pregnant?
But I was the first one.
Yeah, you were the first one. But after you, it was like a chain reaction. Everybody started having kids, and it was normal, We would all hook up and go like to everybody's birthday parties, and it was like, hey, what's up? I have another kid. Oh, okay, cool. But I mean, it was hard, It was hard. I guess I was scared. I don't know shit about being a dad and a mom, about being a dad, I don't, I didn't know nothing about that. Now I do, but back then I didn't know.
Her family disowned her, and they didn't want nothing to do with her after they found out that she was pregnant. They didn't want nothing to do with any of us. So how did you feel when mom and pa took in mommy?
When that happened, I had a lot to do with that, because I went and talked to my mom and dad, and I told them, hey man, you know what, we're in love, and this happened, and she doesn't have anywhere to go, and I want to be with her, and I really thought we were gonna be together forever, and we're pushed into a relationship, both of us together. But at first we really liked each other a lot. We loved each other. I think we loved each other. Well, I did. I thought, but it was pretty hard, man. It was hard for us, because we had to figure out either she's gonna go to school, I'm gonna work. That was the plan, where she was gonna be going to college, and I was the one that was gonna work. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
How old were y'all when y'all split up? Or where were you at that point in your life?
I would say I was like 19 years old at the time, because we were going to the same clubs and we were running into each other at the club. I hated it because it's like stupid, you know what I'm saying? I was a different dude back then. I was real violent back then, so I got a lot of things I did to her, because I was a pretty fucked up dude, I matured,
Yeah. What was it like raising me?
I'm gonna be real honest with you. It was never your mom and me raising you. Never. It was my mom. My mom. And that's one of the things that I hate, and I hate about myself, and that I wish I could take back, because a lot of the times it was my mom. Most of the time it was my mom. Because I was either high, drunk. I remember it was times where I would leave you with my mom and I wouldn't come home. I would be out there doing crazy shit, It was hard, man. Being a kid, being a parent at the same time was fucking hard as fuck. Because you're not thinking at the moment about your kid when you're doing stupid shit. You think about it afterwards, like, fuck, I'm gonna go to jail because I did this, and what are my kids gonna do? Then you want to be a good parent. But when you're 15 years old and you have a kid, it's like, come on now, you're still a kid. You don't know shit about being a parent, hard. I thank God that my mom and dad, were there, because, I don't know how you would have turned out, you know what I'm saying? You would have turned out pretty fucked up. they would manage to actually step up the game, you know what I'm saying, and be there for you. And I hate that because, you know, now as a grown up, I have another daughter, and I want to be in her life all the time, you know what I'm saying. And I want to do things that I should have done with you. It sucks. It sucks because I wanted to do those things with you. Now, you know, and I know that hurts you because you know, a lot of times I never went to your games. I didn't go to any of your shit because I was over there being a stupid ass, and I regret that. I regret that a lot.
I had like, so we always see it like, I had 3 dads the way I see it, which was him, his 2 best friends, which is Hera and Luis, which I call him uncle. And even though my dad didn't go, like, I really appreciate my tío Luis. And up to this day, it means a lot that he went to my soccer games and went to go watch me play. And so I still had that. I had one dad there, and was daddy learning how to be a dad.
I'm still learning. To this day, I'm still learning. You know, but I'm a totally different person now. I'm a totally different dad. I try to hear her out now, and I try to talk to her. Before it was, you know, just a dumb fuck, you know.
So let's like fast forward a little bit into my first day of school.
First day of school.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was there. Your first day of school was a trip, man, because I went with you to go, me and your mom went, and my mom. When we took her down to kindergarten, it was tripped out because when they saw me walk in, all the teachers was like, "Oh my God, Ruben, please, you have kids now?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh, we hope she's nothing like you. We hope she's nothing like you." Shout out to Miss Castro. Shout out to all y'all were out there. Miss Castro was a cool ass teacher, and it was my first grade teacher, and she looked out for her. It was pretty tripped out your first day of school.
And then Papi got a girlfriend, which is my sister's mom. I feel like I gave him a really hard time.
Oh yeah, he gave me a hell of a time.
Obviously, no kid wants.
What kid wants their dad with, or their mom or dad with another person? Of course, you want your kids to want their parents together. But fortunately, that didn't happen. So I got remarried, and I met this chick, you know, and we had a kid, and she didn't like it at all. You didn't like that at all.
I was mean to her, like really mean to her. I tried to get my mom to beat her up. Because she invited me swimming, and I was like, yeah. And she was being so friendly to me, and then I flipped the story and told my mom that she told me she was gonna take me swimming and she was gonna drown me. But then like I got caught in my line, I got in a lot of trouble. So after that, I kind of calmed down after that. It was hard having another woman in my life. Also, like he said, I didn't really like that very much. Growing up, watching my dad have another family was really hard for me. And I think this is why, like, when I first heard my mom was pregnant with Benny, it really scared me. And it's like watching him be married to somebody else and raise a child, and I didn't get that life, was really hard for me. And obviously he had to move in with her because they got married, and I stayed behind with my grandma, and I just felt like there was a lot of things in my life that I didn't get to enjoy.
Well, I mean, I regret not bringing you with me, but you didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
You told me no. I asked you to come with me. You said no. I had to leave, you know. I had to move. I had to go be far. That wasn't far, actually. I was on the other side of town, but, you know, that was kind of hard for me, too, because I wanted to see you sometimes, and I'd be like, damn, she's not here, you know, but it's just crazy, man, because if you think about it, it's like, what do you do? I mean, what do you do in a situation like that? What do you do? You know, I want to make you happy, so I left you there, too.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I abandoned you, you know?
It did feel like that.
Like, I feel that way. You know, there's things that I would tell you don't understand. When you grow up, you'll understand it. And you're growing up now, and some things you do get, you know? It was just hard. It was hard being that kind of a parent.
So Daddy, they lasted a long time being boyfriend and girlfriend, but the marriage didn't last very long. So Daddy ends up moving back in with us, and there's a lot about my dad that I didn't know. And he would always tell me, when you grow up, I'm gonna tell you about me. And I never understood what that meant. I always tell him, like, tell me, what does that mean? And he just never wanted to tell me until he moved in with us. He didn't really have to tell me. I knew who my dad was. Turns out my daddy was an OG. Well, I guess you can't really say OG because he was still just a G, because he's still really young. He's only 40 now, and I'm gonna be 25 this year. Yeah. But I started to realize who my dad really was and the trouble my dad would get into. And a lot of things, I still remember the time you told me about the PlayStation, because he had the PlayStation, and I hated that he would always sell things that were mine. But he had to give it away because the day of his wedding.
Oh, yeah.
I'll let you tell that story.
The day of my wedding, we got robbed for some pounds, and I had to come up with money to pay the dues that I owed. You know, we were doing crazy shit, man, and I thought it was gonna be easy, and it wasn't. So it was either pay them back, and I sold everything I had, and I had to pay. You know, got some money. It was the most embarrassing day of my life. I had to tell my parents, hey, you know what? I got in trouble, and you know, I got some drug dealers on my ass. I had to come up with like 24 grand, and I was like, shit. And a lot of that had to do with other people stepping up for me too, because you know, there were some people out there, but it was somebody who I looked up to, and that was his best friend, and he actually stood up for me and said, hey man, I know Ruben wouldn't do some shit that you guys are saying, so y'all either let him make it, or you know, we're gonna go at it. So they let me make it after I paid half of it, and ever since, it's alright. Well,
so little things like that started making me realize who my dad really was.
Yeah, I always like that easy money, so I like to make fast money and do stupid crazy shit and steal shit, and you know.
What is your gang? What was your gang?
Man.
So tell the story about that.
My gang, well, we didn't have no leader, first of all. We had no leader, so there was no control over what we did. We were a small little group, and we were called Crazy Crew, and there were some guys called Stoners. They were older than us, and there were some other dudes from Northeast Side, so we all claimed Northeast Side. We were young. Our crew was real young. Stoners were already like old. They were like 20s. Some of them were like almost in 30s and shit. The other guys, Northeast Side guys, they were from Northeast Dallas, and they were bigger than we were. They were bigger gangs, so they we started a chapter. We were a Crazy Crew. We started a chapter here, and we ended up making the block hot, you know, for them. And so they just basically disowned us, and because they had, like I said, there was no control really, because we were a very small group, but out of our small group, we had some crazy fuckers, you know what I'm saying? We had dudes going into your house and stolen cars. I mean, just demolishing your house. Like somebody would put a stolen car into your living room and, you know, fuck up your house. We did a lot of drive-bys. We did a lot of crazy shit back then. And we made the news a couple of times where they didn't know who we were, but we would claim Northeast Side. So Northeast Side was like, you know what, guys? They came at us and said, you know what? We want y'all to stop. And we were like, what do you mean, you know? We were like, fuck y'all, you know? So we started our own shit. We called it the Lovefield Players. I'm telling you, when I say we were a small group, we had to be at half of, maybe about 30 real motherfuckers. And the rest were weak dudes, you know what I'm saying? But from all of us, it was about 15 that were down for their shit and basically did shit that got us known. We were known all over Dallas, man. They hated us, you know? I remember walking down the street with one of my friends and going walking down the street, and then these motherfuckers are chasing us in cars, grown men chasing us in cars and shooting at us, you know? We were walking around with guns in our pockets and shooting back, you know, doing crazy shit. Crazy. Lovefield was formed. And, you know, we became our own thing and we did our own shit. Nobody told us anything. So now we're fucking tripled. We're crazy, you know. These dudes that I hung around with, we all grew up since we were kids. We were like elementary, like I'm talking about. We grew up together and everybody here was like, they knew each other. It's a small neighborhood, you know, everybody. Super small. Everybody knows each other. So when some shit goes down and some shit goes down, you know what I'm saying? You already know. So, I mean, we did a lot of crazy shit, man. I'm not very proud of it now, you know. But back then it was like, damn, we did that, you know. Now I think about it, it's like, wow, I can't believe I did that. I mean, I should be in prison right now for most of the shit that we did. It wasn't cool.
So obviously Daddy's into a lot of bad things and he's very young in his life. And me, at this time, he's still into this stuff. And it's my quinceañera time, and Daddy gets caught up.
Yeah, I was already old, and
not really.
Well, I mean, I was older, you know. I had already left that gang shit, and everybody's growing up, you know. You grew out of the gang shit, and like, you know, we start doing other shit. And went out when I was already married by the time, but I was married to the other little girl's mom, and a buddy of mine came over, and he's like, let's go out. You know what? I'll be back. So got dressed and I left, and we got into some shit, and I ended up almost going to prison. Every time we go to court, it was like 20 years. They would always offer me 20 years. And around this time, it's her quinceañera, you know, and I'm already fighting 3 years, fighting it, and then her quinceañera is like literally around the corner.
It was the last
court date, and I was like, shit, man, what's gonna happen? And I remember telling her, like, man, baby, I love you, and if I'm not here for your 15, you know, you're Theo Lewis, and he's gonna step up, and you know, he's gonna be there for you, and you know, yeah, I basically had everything set up where if I was gonna be gone, like I knew Lewis and Hera and Chuito and Mundo, they were gonna step up for me, you know, and be there, and Ovidio and all them, be there for me, because I had already talked to them and told them, hey man, if I go to prison, I'm not saying be in her life, I just want, you know, every birthday, if you can just get her something for me and just say it for me, you know what I'm saying, and they all said, yeah, you know, whatever, you're not gonna go to prison, don't worry about it. But it was pretty fucked up because, I mean, I was looking at a pretty fucked up charge, and you know, my my years were like 5 to 99. I was like, damn, maybe I'll go to prison for 2 years. No, shit, no. I had to be there for 5 years to 99. You know, it's when somebody tells you that shit, reality hits. You know, you're like, fuck, I'm gonna be gone 5 to 99 years. What if they give me 10 years? What the fuck, man? I was just thinking in my head, damn, 10 years, I could do 10 years. And then I was like thinking, no, I can't do 10 years. What about my girls, you know? What about, you know, I'm going to miss her graduation. I'm going to miss her birthdays. I'm going to miss her quinceañera, which was the most important thing, I think, in a kid's life, you know? But, you know, I was scared, man. I was really fucking shitting bricks, and I was there. And I remember I couldn't sleep, dude. I couldn't sleep for days, man. Months. I dreaded to see that I had court on the 16th. Couldn't sleep. That's why I gained so much weight.
Yeah, you were depressed.
I was depressed, and I get divorced around this time. I felt like I had nobody to help me. Nobody understood me. Luckily, you know, God is good, you know, and I believe now because I lived it, that prayer moves mountains. I remember going to the last day of court. My buddy, I walk in and my mom's like, yo voy contigo, I'll go with you. And I said, no, mom, the reason I didn't want my mom or nobody there is because I didn't want them to see me when they sentenced me, to look at my face, because I knew I was going to look at them and I was going to cry. I knew that was going to happen. And I was like, I don't want to see my mom because I don't want to take that with me to jail, because I knew once I hit jail, it was going to be a different story, you know. And I wanted to be that Ruben that was real tough and hardcore, that didn't give a fuck. And I knew that if I saw my kids or if I saw my mom, that was going to change, you know. And I was going to take that with me inside of me. And I hated it. And
I wanted to go, I remember. And I didn't go to school that day because we were at home waiting.
Yeah, and I basically walk in court, right, and I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting outside in the waiting room, and sure enough, man, my boy Lewis, I see him, and I just hugged him, you know, and he's like, I love you, man, and like I always do. This is one of the dudes that like has been in my life, you know, it's always been there for me, and my other boy Ovidio was there too, and Ovidio was like, man, I'm here for you, you know. And it was pretty messed up because they say that you know who your friends are when you're in jail, and when you're in jail or when you're in the hospital. That's when your real friends come out, and they were there for me. And luckily, you know, I prayed to God and I said, God, if you get me out of this mess right here, I promise you I won't do anything anymore. I'll act right. I'll try to change my life, and I'll try to be somebody important, you know. And luckily, the judge found it in his heart, you know. He changed because the state had picked up my case now by this time, and he said, you know, the judge is like, my lawyer basically went in there and plea bargained me, and he got me 10 years probation deferred, which deferred is pretty freaking hard to do because you can't do anything. Fucking man, some of these people do not need to be probation officers. Real talk. Oh my God, they're some people that don't need to have that position in life where they're overseeing somebody else when they're fucked up people. But yeah, luckily I got 10 years probation, and you know, I'm here to talk about it, you know.
And we got through it. Do you remember the time that, well, obviously, but we got threatened and you were out somewhere and you called, I don't know if Ama or Apa, freaking out that we had to leave the house?
Oh yeah.
Because we were gonna get killed.
That time, we were at a bar called Wild Turkey, and it was me and Ovidio showed up there, and my boy Ovidio, he's like, let's go. But me, I was being terco. I was like, no, I'm gonna go ahead and stay here for a little bit. I had another buddy that was there, so I was like, all right, cool. So I stay. He leaves, and I'm stuck there, right? And there's this girl I used to date. She passes by, and she's there with her whole family. Like, it was a shitload of them, a lot of them. When I say it's a lot of them, it's a lot of them. And this dude passes by, and I'm drinking with one of my buddies that is there as well. This dude looks at me, they're about to leave. This dude looks at me, so I look at him, like, my cousin's too much of a woman for you, you know. But he said in Spanish, mi prima mucha vieja pa ti, güey, or something like that. So I looked at him and I get up, and I'm like, what? From that, and he came up to me. So, you know, I stuck him. I hit him really hard. I hit him as hard as I could, and I knocked him out. So they all come back in, and they're like, who knocked him out? Who hit him? And all of a sudden, the dude wakes up, and he's like, it was him. And so all of a sudden, dude, we got like dudes on top of me, and my two friends that are sitting there, man, they get drug into a booth. Poor guys, man, they got their ass whooped real bad, and you know, we got into a big old fight, and I mean, it was bad. And so buddy of mine was outside. He's like, let's go. So like, I jump out the window, and we left, you know, busted my head coming out the damn window at the turkey. So, you know, the whole bar was all messed up. I'm talking about tables everywhere. It was pretty a horrible fight. I mean, with the whole bar emptied out, and you know, I'm bleeding bleeding from the head, and that girl calls me on my phone talking about, hey, we're on our way to your house. I'm gonna tell my cousins what you did was fucked up. They're gonna shoot up your house. So by this time, I believe the girl. By this time, I just call my mom on her phone. I'm like, hey, y'all gotta go. They're gonna come over and they're gonna shoot the house because that girl knew where I lived. I called my boy Hera, and Hera shows up with his pregnant wife in the car. It was crazy. Shows up, and he's like, well, fuck it, I got your back. If they come in, we'll just do what we gotta do, you know what I'm saying? That dude was a quality guy, man. He stayed with me.
He's still in my life.
Yeah, he's still around. He's a jerk sometimes. You're a jerk sometimes, but he's still there. We got a love and hate relationship.
They're like girls. They fight and then they make up. So that was hard for us having to leave the house. My grandpa was like, I'm not going anywhere. This is
my
house.
dad's a G. Motherfucker said, this is my house. Ain't nobody gonna put me out. So my dad was there.
There was another time Daddy got home all bloody, and I was going through some really hard stuff because my dog was dying, and I get really attached to my dogs, and that was my baby, and that dog and me had this relationship where she saved my life a couple times and also snitched on me when I snuck out of the house. But the dog saved my life because I would get asthma attack, and there was no way of me trying to run to my grandma because I would get them really bad. She would go and panic and tell my grandma like something was wrong. So if it wasn't for the dog, like I probably would have died several times. I mean, you can't die several times.
Jesus. Walking Dead and shit.
I would have died.
I would have died. And this one goes to college, eh? Jesus.
Well, you know what I mean.
Lassie ain't had shit on this dog.
Yeah, Lassie didn't have nothing.
This is the Mexican
She was
Lassie.
a Chihuahua. And yeah, so she caught parvo and she was dying and bleeding out, and it's like 3-4 in the morning, and this one I'm like over here panicking because the dog is dying. My grandma wouldn't let me hold her. My grandma was just praying, holding her and crying too, and then he shows up all bloody talking about, hey, I'm just letting you know I'm gonna kill this blah 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 and I might not come back. And I was like, I turned around and look at him, and my grandma's like, don't bring any more problems to this house, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, okay, this is my chance. So I grabbed my dog and I'm just holding her, and I looked at my dad and I said, if you leave, because now my grandma and my dad are arguing, that my grandpa and my dad are arguing about don't bring no more problems to the house and this and that. And
it's horrible.
Yeah, and I just look at my dad and I tell him, if you go to jail, you can forget you have a daughter because I'm not gonna come see you. And he left. But he came back like 10 minutes later, but the dog was dead already. It was so hard because I saw him leave, and as soon as he left, I was holding her and I looked at her and I cried, and she just stared me in my eye. And
well, you know I came back because of you, right?
yeah, I know you came back. She died in my hands, and I'm like, well, there goes my dad and there goes my dog. And
that sounded like a badass country song. There goes my dog and there goes my dad.
Thanks. So then he comes back. He came back and he helped me bury her. And that night you were scared. You were scared.
Yeah, I was scared.
He's like, I thought they were gonna come drive by and shoot us while I was digging up the grave.
It's freaking 4 o'clock in the morning. I just got into it with some dude pretty bad, bleeding. Then I'm like, what? But your words did make me come back. Yeah, those were one of those times.
I was like dead serious. Like I was like, if you go to jail, I'm not gonna come see you, and you're not my dad. I pretty much broke up with my dad that day. But all these kind of things were really hard on me growing up. But at the same time, it was an experience, and it set.
But yeah, but I mean, we're not that far apart of age.
I know that's true. We're not that far apart. He's always like, whenever I die, blah blah blah. When I get old, I'm like, I'm gonna get older with you.
But I mean, I'm gonna be older. That's how me and my dad were. I remember me being in high school. My dad was freaking young. He was like super young, and we call him Popeye. He has a big old forearms. He was still trying to whoop ass. You know what I'm saying? He was doing it.
Okay, so one time we were at Jack in the Box.
Oh, this is a good one.
So we were at Jack in the Box, and he has parent-teacher conference that day. My grandma couldn't go, so she told him he needed to go.
You liked my parent-teacher. Who would you rather have, your grandma?
Oh, my dad. Because my dad would come back and tell my grandma that I was good, and it was a lie.
I was lying.
He would cover for me. He was the cool dad. He was more like a brother. To this day, we have a brother-sister relationship. I can tell him anything, like anything about sex, drugs, boys, anything. And daddy would always be there for me, and it was like a comfortable feeling versus I couldn't talk to my grandparents about things like that. So I'm at Jack in the Box, and I walk in there, and I'm in middle school at the time. I'm a 7th grader. I just left elementary school, and girls don't like me, and these girls really didn't like me. Actually,
No,
I fought
middle
one of
school.
them. No, but before we go into middle school, I fought one of them, and then the other one jumped in, and like they both got me. So we kind of already had this beef. But the other girls, when I get to middle school, don't know me. They're from another neighborhood. She pretty much gave them negative information about me, and there's the two main girls. I would try to rally up the girls, and they would always say that they wanted to jump us, which is I say me and my cousin. And so I go into Jack in the Box, and I'm like 7th grade, probably like, I think it was like the 6-week first conference, and I go in there, and there was a lot of them at the time, and they're just talking all this smack, and I'm just like, oh man, I don't want to get caught by myself. So I was scared, like, but I didn't want to show it, but I was scared. So I'm in Jack in the Box. All I wanted was some potato wedges, and then I'm like standing in line, and then they're just like,
you said.
Yeah, one of them said.
No, you said, Daddy, let's go, Daddy, let's go.
No, but you weren't there. I was in there by myself.
I know. You said that. No, you walked back outside, and I said, what's wrong? And you're like, no, let's go. And I'm like, no, what's wrong? And you told me, and that's when I made you go back.
Yeah, because I heard one of them say, let's just jump her right now, or something like that. And I was like, oh, that's too many of them. Like, I'll take 3, 4, 5 jumping me, but that was like too many. So I walk outside, sitting in his car, and I'm like, I don't want potato wedges anymore. And he knew something was wrong.
Of course. And I wanted 2 tacos. They didn't give me 2 tacos. Shit.
And so he's like, no, we're going in there. And I was like, no. And I was like, don't say nothing. And he's like, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna say nothing. So I go back in there with him. And then, I don't know, they're like talking amongst themselves. And that's when you jump in, and he's like, which one of y'all's talking shit? And this and that. And all of them are like, no one's talking shit. And he's like, yeah, y'all are.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
I'm arguing with a whole bunch of
He's
girls.
arguing with these girls, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And he's like, then he embarrasses me, because then he starts to get onto me, and he's like, man, these are the girls that are trying to jump you, blah blah blah. And he's like, if you had a piece of me, you'd be running this and this and that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, are you serious? Are you kidding me? Are you for real right now? Then my dad like starts to kind of come at me aggressively, talking about, and then he's like, go with Praz, whoever it is. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And then the lady from Jack in the Box, she's like, she's like, I would tell my daughter the same thing. And then the Jack in the Box lady starts having my back too, and I'm just like, what is going on? But at the time, I'm like, well, let's go. Like, let's go. I was kind of scared though, because I was like, what if she goes my ass in front of my dad?
What have I always told you?
I know. This day changed me though.
Yeah.
This day changed me, because I was always a little fighter or whatever, but I had never encountered a lot of girls like that trying to come at me. So.
But what did I always tell you? I always told you, they breathe the same air.
Oh, that's true.
They shit like you, and they bleed like you.
Yes. And I was always very small, so I feel like people always felt like I was an easy target.
Yeah, but I mean, you were small, but.
No, I know.
How old were you since when did I teach you how to fight?
But yeah, he taught me how to box. So he taught me how to box, then I went to an actual gym and I was a boxer. And I was very disciplined in boxing too. I would go train from 3 to 9 o'clock every single day.
Your grandpa was a boxer.
And my grandpa was a boxer too, so like,
they
were all coaching
I was
me.
a street fighter. My dad never wanted to teach me because he said that I was going to use it to do bad shit.
Which he was right.
And
he did teach me. He taught me a lot of things. He taught me a lot of things, and then my coach taught me a lot of things. So
no, everything I taught you was all shit that I learned in the streets.
We didn't end up fighting in front of my dad, but my dad was really mad. We leave Jack in the Box with our food, and he's like, man, I'm mad now. Now I gotta go sit in this parent-teacher conference and to pretend to be a good dad.
Yeah, it happened.
But that was one story that's kind of embarrassing. So after that, I really felt like I had to live up to my dad. I mean, I always, like I said, I would always defend myself and stuff, but I felt like I had to prove myself and go that extra mile, so I wanted to follow his footsteps and be like, I started being really bad. Things changed around the house, and I got really wild with the way I would talk to my grandparents and my dad too, and our relationship went downhill big time, because after that I was like, I got really into the hood, so I started doing things, and they would call me la mafiosa in middle school, because they would just see me with all the boys, and a lot of the times I would be like, well, let's go. If one of the boys were getting jumped, I would jump in. Anything. Like, I got kicked out of Rusk because I stuck somebody who was saying things about me, and it was a guy, and I busted his lip, busted his eye, and he didn't want me to go to Village Fair. And I ended up moving schools, and then I got in trouble in that school, not with the principal, but with people there, because they found out that we were from North Dallas, but this isn't really North Dallas.
This is Love Field.
This is Love Field, exactly. And they will call me,
Love Field.
yeah, so they will call me norteña. I hated that, and I was like, I'm not a norteña. Stop calling me that. And it kept going, and I let it slide because I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that here. Like, I'm gonna try to be good. It was the week before spring break, and
This is high school, or?
This is high school already, yeah. Because I got kicked out of middle school. Remember? And I went to middle school in Irving. It was the end of middle school, and then I transferred to and finished middle school there, like the last 4 weeks or whatever, and then I went to Nimitz High School, and that's where a lot of things went down. And honestly, like, I didn't know who to call, who to tell that like these guys were trying to start something with me and two girls I would hang around with, and I was like, they keep saying we're norteñas and we're not norteñas. I'm from Love Field. Like, I'll throw it up and I would rep it, and they were still calling me a norteña. So one of the guys just came up to me and he's like, get the F out my hood, you norteña. And I was like, man, you call this the hood? This is Irving. And he just got too close to me, so I just grabbed my paleta. I was eating a paleta de mango, and I grabbed it and I just chunked it in his face, and then he muffed me to the floor. But then this guy like ran and tried to beat him up, and he tried to have my back, but he took off running. And so I told my dad what had happened, and the next day things got really bad in the cafeteria, and one of the guys disrespected me really bad and made a sexual comment towards me, and I had already heard what they wanted to do. It was like pretty much beat up and threatening me in a sexual way as well. So I text my dad right away. Things are getting out of hand. So when my dad shows up to the school, it's after school already, and he's like, you're gonna walk down and you're gonna tell me who it is, and I'm just gonna pop his ass. And I was like, okay. So when daddy shows up, man, he showed up in a Nissan Sentra, and he shows up with a guy who makes my dad look hella small. And he's like, his head is tatted up, and he's like, I was like, who is that, man? He showed up with somebody else, and I'm like, this guy had just got off on like parole or something like that.
Buddy.
And it was his friend. Like, look at
you got your dudes that you don't do dirt with, and you got your dudes that you can't do dirt with. But
yeah,
you got to do dirt with, you got to pick them right. You know what I'm saying?
So then my dad starts to see how bad it got, because I kid you not, the whole street full of people supposedly going there to jump us. Remember?
Yeah, it was bad.
It was bad. I don't think even my dad could have took that big of a crowd down.
No, it was a lot of them.
It was too much. It was a whole block.
Oh, they were scared though.
Full of people. And the cops showed up, and my dad was like, you're going back to Dallas.
Yeah, that was it. You know, going back to Dallas.
The good thing is that Dallas lost my record somehow, and I didn't have to go to alternative school, so I ended up staying in high school. And that's when things were really smooth for me. And what's funny is that I went to what they consider a bad school, which is not really bad, but I did really good there, I think.
I don't think it's a bad school.
No, it's not anymore.
I think when we were there, it wasn't a bad school. It was just people who you hung around with made it bad.
Yeah, that's true. But
like me, you know.
Yeah, true.
But I was good at school. I was always just getting in trouble.
But people knew me though there.
Oh yeah.
I already had a reputation when I went there, and I had one fight there, and it was bad. That girl, I messed that girl up. People think that, oh, she's small, but I never really
She's
cared.
a pit bull.
Yeah, I'm a chihuahua that strikes like a pit bull.
She's a pit bull. I was told to be.
Yeah, so
I
I ended up transferring there, and things went pretty well there.
Yeah, she was the valedictorian of her school.
I was not valedictorian, you liar. I was vice president.
That too. I told her, give me 5 minutes with that puto. I'll make you valedictorian real quick.
No.
I told you.
Me and Daddy got into a lot of things together.
Yeah.
We got into a lot of trouble together.
Well, actually, you can tell them about that one time where...
At the Alamo?
At the bar, yeah.
Okay,
that one was funny.
So we went out because this is just one of the stories, because we have a lot of them. But we have a lot of stories together, because we went out together and he took me to a bar because I had got commended on one of my tax tests, which means like I did over.
You wanted to go to this place.
Okay, so I wanted to go, but he took me because I got commended. And this guy comes up to me and he tries to pull me out to dance, and my dad's like, hey man, she's a little kid, and now you know she's a youngster, he said. She's a youngster, and he was like, so I don't care, or something like that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was game over right there.
Yeah, I had to hit his ass.
So Daddy hits him. Then I guess he was with other people, so then I see a bottle fly. And then I see my dad going at it with somebody else. And my dad's like, why are you coming after me? He's the one trying to holler at a little girl. And then I just see somebody else, and he's like, how'd she get in here anyway? Papi knew all the owners of all the clubs and bars. Everybody's going at it, and I'm just like, hey man, don't be hitting my dad. And then I'm going at it too, and I'm like stomping on him with heels. It was crazy. We had a couple incidents like that.
No, the best one, I'm not gonna lie, was was my wedding.
Oh my gosh, his wedding.
My wedding was off the chain. First of all,
it was my. It's always because of me.
It was because of her.
And this guy, the neighbor, had friends over, and he disrespected me. And my dad's like, "That's my daughter." And so he's like, they chill out. The first little incident, he chilled out. But then when it's time for us to go to reception, things changed.
Yeah.
Because he called him father-in-law like several times, like taunting my dad. And
now you gotta remember, I'm in tuxedos, a set of boots and hat and everything.
He just helped my stepmom get into the car with a big dress.
Wedding dress. And I turn around and I look at her and I say, "I'm sorry, baby. Can't let this shit go." And I get off and we just start going at it.
And the next thing you know, like, I see this guy that used to be my best friend. He just ran and he's like, "Sonic is fighting! Sonic is fighting!" And I'm like, "Babe, my dad is fighting!"
He said, "They're fighting."
Stop. So
that's exactly what he said. "They're fighting."
So then, like, I'm like, so I run, and all I see is my boyfriend jump over the fence like he's Superman or some shit, and he runs, and he's just like, there. I see Hera, which is the one that's like my dad, him, my Tío Luis, my boyfriend. They're all going at it, like everybody. It was like a rumble outside because everybody had a different guy, and my grandma's like, "Háblale a la policía, háblale a la policía." "No, hijo, no, Janet no merece esto."
Janet's in the car like, huh?
And then I see that guy and I'm running. I had Toms on. Thank God I had Toms on. And I'm running and I just see that guy and I grab my bouquet and I'm just like, boom, and I'm like, "Get off my dad." And then here comes my uncle. I see my uncle on the floor with some other guy. And then this girl gets on, like, trying to get my uncle off. And so she gets on top of them. So then I go over there and stick her and I kicked her. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm like, "You don't be," she's like, "Get off him." I'm like, "You get off of him." And we're just going at it and it was crazy. And then everybody got up like nothing and we left to the reception.
The reception?
Yeah, but that was crazy. We've had several incidents like that, but a lot of them we can't talk about on here.
Yeah, but it's okay though.
Yeah, but
we live to.
So we have had crazy times together. So like I said, we're like brother and sister. Do you remember that time when I was little and you got arrested at the house and you told the police officer, "Please don't put me in handcuffs"?
Yeah, I said, oh man, that's because everybody, my buddy, I thought it was my buddy digging around the doorbell, right? The doorbell rings and it's like shit. And my mom's like, I was like, "Mamá, no la puerta." She's like, "Why?" I said, "Somebody had her playing around and shit." Well, I'm eating tamales, bro. It's like tamale time around that season. And they were good too. I just got home from work. I was tired. And I was like, shit, man. And next thing I know, I see these two cops in my living room. And I hear, "Ruben Reese." And I'm like, shit. It sounds like a cop. I look up like this. I look at this other side. And sass. It's two cops. I'm like, damn. "Ma, why you open the door?" She's like, "Yo no te voy a tapar nada. Yo no te voy a tapar nada." By this time I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna run out the fucking back door, right? So I'm start thinking, I'm like, and I turn around and see my little girl, I'm like, shit. So I tell them, "Hey man, y'all want some tamales?" And they're like, "Yeah." So they're like, "All right, cool." I say, "Man, just I'm asking for a favor. Don't put a handcuffs in front of my kid, man, please. That's the only thing I'm asking for." And he's like, "All right, cool." He's like, "Well, hurry up and finish eating." You know, they were real cool about it. They were like, you know, hurry up and ate. I finished eating and then, you know, he's like, "Man, go ahead and put some socks on and get some jeans on, bro. It's cold in there." I said, "All right, cool." So they let me get some clothes on. And when we walked outside, I jump in the truck and then he's like, "All right, man, come on, we gotta put the handcuffs on." So he handcuffed me.
I did see that though. I was watching through the window.
It sucked, man. That was one of the times. That's one thing I always wanted not to expose you to. You know, I had always got into trouble and I had cops coming to my house all the time. We were in trouble all the time. So we already knew, you know, when the cops were there, you don't talk to them. But, you know, these dudes are pretty cool, man. They didn't do that in front of my kids, so I was grateful for that, you know.
So me and my dad, we've worked a lot through our relationship. We had a very hard relationship, like I said. He didn't know how to discipline me, and like I said, I became really bad, and I was very disrespectful. And I'm not proud of that, and I feel really bad about that. But it was like I wanted to go out and do things, and my grandma was like, "No, you don't tell yourself what to do. I tell you what to do." But I would just leave and just. There was one time where what did I do? I
pushed her.
I pushed her. It was bad.
Yeah, that's when I choked.
Oh yeah, he choked me out, and he choked me out several times.
I didn't mean to choke you out, but you made
choked me out.
I undertaked her, you know, the Undertaker.
Yeah, he body slammed me several times too.
Well, yeah, well, you were talking shit to the woman that gave me life and basically did everything for you.
That's kind of good though in a way because you got disciplined, but dang. And he would always tell me, "You want to be picking up your teeth from the floor, little girl?"
Well, yeah.
Like it will get ugly. And
she would backtalk and be like, "Mija, let me tell you, you want to pick up your teeth from the floor? Do you?"
Man, you would not tell me that calm.
How would I say it?
Your face would get like all red and your face would start twitching and then you would look ugly, like the demon was inside of you. There was one time I was like, we got into it.
Full of shit.
No, I'm not. There was one time that we got into it nasty and I like pushed you and somehow I got away. Like we were fighting and I got away and I ran outside. I was running, man. Tell me why. He catches up to me and my hair was long at the time and it's like flowing as I'm running. You can see this like in the movie. He just boom grabs me from my hair and drags me all the way back inside the house. It was bad. It was bad.
Well, yeah, you acted crazy back then too.
Yeah, I did act crazy.
That's all I knew. Violence. That's what I was taught. And my dad used to whoop my ass, so you had to try to whoop. But now it's different. Like,
he don't do that to my sister though.
Nah. The other one, this one now, she's totally different from this one. The other one is like, she's scared. She is scared, but she knows how to play her dad though too sometimes. She plays me.
Yeah,
you know,
she sure does.
You know?
I wasn't scared though. I would talk back to you and you would whoop me and I would still say things back.
Yeah.
I always felt like I had to have the last word. Even up to this day. I still have to have the last word. So like me and my dad, I had held a lot of grudges with my dad and it was hard. It was hard because I felt like he abandoned me. I just had a lot of coraje. One day we have a cookout at the house and he has a letter in the mail. And he didn't tell me at the cookout. And he had violated probation. He called me that night. He FaceTimed me. And he was crying. And he's like, I'm just letting you know before you hear it from somebody else that tomorrow I'm going to court. And
yep. Apparently, if you don't pay your fucking fines, you can get violated. So I was trying to pull a fast one. And I didn't pay my shit. They violated me. I was really scared. The reason I was scared is because, man, I mean, I'm 40 years old, dude. I go to prison for 10 years. I'll be 50 years old. You know? And this, between now and 10 years from now, I gotta do a lot of shit, you know? I got a lot of shit to do. I got a lot of growing to do. I got a lot of, you know, things that I have to prepare my kids for them, you know, for the future, for my wife. And, you know, I just got married and now I want to go to prison. Like, that shit ain't for me, you know? That's a young man's game, you know? I'm 40 years old.
He's changed.
I'm changed, and I believe in living in peace and in living in harmony with just being a better person, being a good husband, and trying to be a better dad, a better husband, a better everything. Because I mean, we only live once, and what are you gonna leave here? That legacy, you know? Well, you know, I was a badass when I was a kid. What did that leave me? Nothing. What do I get out of it? Nothing. What did I have? What do I have to show for it? Yeah, I got the scars. Yeah, I got the battle wounds. I got this and that, but I don't have anything, you know? Now I try to give back to my community. You know, I try to do as much stuff I can. I do a lot of charity work. I never thought I was gonna pick up a trade that people can actually respect. You know, I always thought I was gonna be working as a warehouse worker all my life, you know? And I picked up my sister. She basically did floral arrangements. Growing up, I always saw my sister. She went to school for that shit, and I always saw my sister do it. And I would always just look, and see how she would do shit. And one day, I went to work at a warehouse where they sold flowers, and I said, you know what? I could do this shit if I practiced enough. So I started doing it. I started practicing. I started doing here a little thing. Next thing you know, somebody saw my work and they're like, "Hey, can you do a wedding?" I said, "Yeah, why not? I can do it." So I'm like, "Fuck, I gotta do a wedding, 30 centerpieces. How am I gonna do it?" So I told my sister, Liz, "Listen, man, I got an idea. What do you think? Let me build one, and you tell me what you think." Because my sister is real. She's a badass doing this, and she's a real good critic. So I built my first one, and she's just like, "Are you serious?" And she's like, "It's pretty badass." I said, "Really?" She's like, "I think, let's try it out, so let's do it." So we did our first wedding. It was badass. It was an awesome. Everybody liked it. And I picked up the trade, man. I'm a florist now, you know. I thank God that he gave me the talent to do shit. If you can see, I wish I could show you. But I do a lot of funerals. And on the funerals, I do a lot of them for low-income people, and I know my wife gives me shit all the time. She's like, "Damn, babe, you work really hard on these things and you give them really cheap." I'm like thinking like, man, because they don't have money, some of these people, they don't have money. And, funeral homes and flower people, they'll fuck them, real bad. And I feel bad, because one day I know when I die, even if I don't have any flowers in my funeral, I know that I gave a little piece to those people, you know. And I try to help out as much as I can, and I try to live like in a life where I'm gonna be happy. My wife's gonna be happy. She's gonna be like well taken care of. And my motivation in life now is to be a good dad, to be a good person, and to love, man. It sounds corny and shit, you know, but man, if you don't have love in your life, real talk, this is love. I love my kids. I love my girls, especially, you know, when they tell you, you know, hey, you know, Dad, you weren't the perfect dad, but I love you, and you know, that's the kind of shit you live for, man. Fuck all that bullshit. That's what you live for, to hear that kind of shit, to walk away from them knowing that they're gonna take what I taught her to her with her kids. You know, it's crazy. You know, a lot of people are gonna judge and say, hey, you know, well, they're gonna watch this video and they're gonna be like, well, I mean, he taught her how to fight, he taught her how to do. No, that's not what I taught her. I taught her how to respect herself, and I taught her how to defend herself, and how to know that she's a leader, not a follower. And I've always taught her that. You can ask her. I've always told her, you're a leader, not a follower. You lead, you don't follow. And that's what we do, you know. We lead, and we need more people, more parents to step up their game and be there. Sometimes you're not given this opportunity, like I was again, to be a good dad.
I really feel like whenever you told me that you violated probation, our relationship completely switched. Because, like I said, I held a lot of import towards my dad. And that day that he told me that, I felt like I was losing my dad, like almost like he was dying. And I was like, man, he just moved out of the house. Our relationship has gotten so much better. He moved out with his wife, and I'd sometimes drop by and just watch movies or chill or come eat. And
I'll cook.
Yeah, he cooks. and so
ain't nothing wrong with that.
and nothing wrong with doing flowers either. And whenever Daddy tells me that, I'm like, man, I'm crying, and I'm just crying, and I couldn't
tell you what.
When you told me about probation.
Oh,
violating, because I've been trying to tell that story.
Oh, sorry.
And so he tells me that, and I'm just like, man, I'm not gonna see him anymore whenever I want to. I can't drop by his house anymore to see, like, chill with him, and it really broke my heart. And so I came to his house and I just hugged him and cried. And
you didn't even say anything. You just hugged me, and I hugged you, and I told you it was gonna be okay, and I loved you.
I broke a big wall I had to put up for my dad, because I had a big wall built, and I already know how he is. Like, I can't let go of this grudge of the past. I couldn't let go, and that day I let it all go, and I hugged my dad like I never hugged him before. And now we get into arguments and we fight for like a couple seconds and then it's done, versus back then we would fight, and I think the longest we did last talking was 2 weeks, right?
Something like that.
And
yeah,
it was, that day really changed our lives, and I'm kind of grateful for that scare, because we probably wouldn't be the way we are right now, even though it's only been a couple of months, but our relationship really grew that day. But that's our little story. So we have a couple questions from some people.
Oh my god, this is people on Facebook?
Your people and my people.
Okay.
Why did you join a gang?
I guess we were just young kids. Now you gotta remember, this is back in the 90s. This is like, it was a time where gang lifestyle was like, it was a lifestyle. You lived it. You thought, some people thought they weren't gonna make it to see 18 years old. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of friends that passed away, you know, that died living that lifestyle. So, I mean, it was just, like I said, it was a lifestyle. It was the people you hung out with. If they were in a gang, well, you had to be in a gang, you know. And it wasn't because I was in love at home. I was loved by my parents. I had both my parents. It's just wanted to be like, I just idolized that because it was the early 90s.
And I just felt like I just had to follow his footsteps. And not just that, like, I loved the people I was with. And I always felt like I needed to fill a void in my heart.
Yeah.
And they filled it. And we all just cared for each other, and we were down for each other.
Yeah, what's the next question?
How did he feel when he found out that he was going to be a dad? We already answered that on our video.
I was scared. Let's review that. I was scared. Being a dad, not easy. It's scary.
What do you regret?
Regrets. I have a lot of regrets. I regret not staying in school. I regret not walking the stage and seeing my mom and dad see me in a cap and gown. I regret. That's one of the most things that I regret, because I could have had a better future for you, but I didn't. I had no choice to, you know, be a dumbass and go to work. I had a choice to go to school. I just didn't like it. I didn't want to, because I was being stupid, you know. One of the main things I regret at school.
This question says, what did he have to do to get out?
Okay?
Yeah, but like you said, there was no...
I grew out of it.
Yeah.
And you know, to this day, it's funny because to this day, I see a lot of people that are hardcore into it and you never, I feel like you leave a lifestyle, you leave that lifestyle. You know, you grow up and you're just like, man, I ain't about that shit no more, man. Like, you get tired of it.
You're old.
Yeah, you get tired of that shit because I'm serious. I couldn't even go out with my mom to the bazaar because there was dudes from other gangs there, like, you know, and they would fight. They were gonna fight. It was gonna be a.
And I was sitting in a stroller.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't care that you had a family. They didn't care. That gang life shit was no joke, man. That shit was hard. I had to always be watching my back, and like I said, several of my friends passed away. They were shot. I was shot at several times. I remember one day I was sitting there and I just heard, and it was a bullet that went right by my ear, and it was like, run, you know. And it was a lot of shit like that, and I'm thankful that I never got shot. But I'm one of the lucky ones, in reality, because some of my friends, a lot of them went to prison, a lot of them became successful, and some of them are dead.
Did he ever have trouble being humble through raising his daughter in this cold world, or did he overcome it with more patience?
I've always been humble. It was just, like I said, it was a different era back then. The 90s were totally different from nowadays. You know, I just went with the flow, you know, and luckily, you know, we came on top. We did it. I hope that answers your question.
How was it growing up with gangs, and did he ever get jumped by a gang?
Shit, yeah.
So,
let me just tell you one story. Growing up, gangs was not cool, first of all. It's not as glamorous as they say it is in the movies and all this bullshit. I got my ass kicked several times. You know, my hands, you can't see them, but my hands are scarred. I have teeth marks everywhere. I have teeth marks on my elbows, teeth marks on my arms. I have a lot of shit. You know, like I said, I have the battle scars through it. But I remember this one time I was with your mom. We went to a 15, and we were coming from a wedding, and then we went to a 15 at the Heron's Bazaar. And like a dumbass, your dad gets in the middle of the dance floor and starts throwing gang signs. What a fucking idiot, right? And all of a sudden, I get surrounded by all the chambelanes. They start fucking whooping my ass. I'm talking about 15 dudes on my ass. And out of nowhere, your mom comes out with a chair looking like WWE and shit, just smacking motherfuckers. Man. She literally picks me up, and like by this time everybody's like making a bola, and she picks me up, and they broke my nose, and my nose was split up.
My mom was down.
Yeah, but yeah, she helped me out on that one. I owe you that one. Thank you, because I don't think I would be here without you that one time. Thanks.
What did your father regret during his life in the gang? Did his gang affect you? I guess you can answer your question first. So what did you regret?
What do I regret?
During your gang life?
Oh man, I regret a lot of shit. I can't say some of the shit that I did on camera, but you know, I mean, I put my mom through hell. That's the most thing that I regret, is that now as an adult, and I see my mom, she's getting older. She's an old lady now. You know?
Man, she's gonna get mad at you for saying that.
She is. She's an old lady now, you know what I'm saying? I regret making her cry. You gotta remember now, there was nights where I wouldn't come home. It would be 6, 7 in the morning, at 10 in the morning I would come home. And I'm fucking 15, 14 years old at the time, you know? And she's worrying about me. She doesn't know where the hell I'm at. I'm over there fucking doing crazy shit, breaking into cars, breaking into fucking people's shit, the other shit, you know, just so we can have money, you know? But I regret all that shit. I regret making my mom cry most of all. That's what I regret.
I think for me, did it affect me? I think I see it as a good thing, because I realized I didn't want that life, and there's a lot of hard things that he went through because of his record and things like that made me realize I want to be somebody, and I want to not struggle like that. So I think it affected me in a positive way, because I wanted to follow his footsteps, but there was things that I started to realize as I got older that I don't want that life. And
I didn't want that life for you.
And he used to cry, and he used to think, oh, you're gonna end up dead or in a casket. What? You're gonna end up in jail or in a casket. And he used to tell me that, and it would leave me thinking. So I kind of planted a seed in my head, because he was living that life, but he didn't want me to live that life. But I wanted to be like him. And I think everything that I went through and saw with him led to the person I am today, which is a hard worker. I study really hard. I'm getting through school, and it made me who I am today. It affected my life a lot, and I wish that instead of him being with his friends and going out with all his people, he would have paid more attention to me. But other than that, I always look at it in the positive way, if that makes any sense. What were the pros and cons of him being a teen dad? Well, I could talk to him about anything, literally anything.
Kind of sucks when they come at you, daddy, I need pads. The fuck? What do you mean pads? I need pads. I need this. I'm like, fuck. So I go to the store, go buy that shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit's embarrassing.
That, and then also, whenever I get in trouble at school, it wasn't a big deal.
Nah, it wasn't.
It wasn't a big deal at all.
The reason why it was just like, I've done worse. I mean, come on, let's give her a break.
Oh yeah.
I did worse,
Yeah.
worse shit than her, you know.
Like one time we had a parent-teacher conference, and because I got in a lot of trouble because in middle school, like I said, I was really bad. What I would do in class, I would put all the chairs, I would sit in the back and I would put all the chairs together and lay down and not pay attention in class. And at that time I had already got a phone. So, you know, you would go through the internet and everything was like a little word and then a picture and a word picture. So I would just go back there and lay there, just go through stuff, or go to like this app where you could get like bootleg ringtones and just listen to them like really lightly. And the teacher one day came and she snatched my phone from my hand, and it made me so mad. And this is really bad, but I regret doing things like this. And since I was a teacher for a while in a Montessori, I feel really guilty for disrespecting teachers in middle school. High school was a different story, but middle school was very disrespectful. And when she snatched my phone, I got up and I put my face up and I stuck my middle finger out in her face. And she wrote me up and got suspended, and he had to go to parent-teacher conference. So when he went to the parent-teacher conference, he told me in front of the principal, we don't even fucking cuss at home. Why would you do something like that? Oh my gosh, I couldn't. And the principal knew that we were taking this seriously, both of us, because he's like in his early 20s or something, like, or his mid 20s. He's like my age, and I'm like, oh my gosh, no, he didn't.
I told
He sure
the
did.
principal. I told the principal, we don't even talk. We don't even fucking cuss at home. What's wrong with you, Elizabeth? When we get home, we're gonna take this very serious.
And the principal knew that he was wasting his time. And then the cons of him being a teen dad was that he wasn't there the way a normal dad would have been. It is what it is. Was he ever scared you would follow his footsteps? Yeah, because I was pretty bad.
I was scared.
He was scared.
I was scared she was gonna have kids, she was gonna be pregnant, and she was gonna go through this whole shit. Like, my deal was like I always told her, let's break this fucking cycle, man.
Both of my parents would tell me that.
Let's break this cycle and you gotta go to college, Elizabeth. You gotta be somebody. You gotta pull us out of this shit, man. You gotta be, I don't care what you wanna be, just be something, be good at it.
And I didn't go to college right away.
No.
I worked for a Montessori school, and I was like making $10 an hour, which was way more than minimum wage. And I'm like 18 years old making $10 an hour, and I was like, this is awesome. But then I actually start to pay stuff, and I start to see that there's no way I can survive with $10 an hour. And then I go get certified to be a Montessori teacher, and I'm making $16.50 an hour, and I'm still not making it. Like, what am I doing with all that money? And I was working double time, so they would pay me 20 something an hour, and I still felt like it wasn't enough. And I went back to college, and I'm still in college, and I graduate in next May. And then I'm also trying to go to law school, because I feel like there's a lot of people who need a second chance, like my dad. Pretty much everything he put me through, it has a lot to do with what I'm studying and what my choice of career is going to be. This guy said, what's his body count? No comment, no comment. How were the parties back then? That was Sakala. Ivan Bailon said that.
Parties back then were off the chain, man. There were parties, not like nowadays. Back then it was badass. We had good times.
How has your relationship for each other changed since you were younger?
Well, we
covered that, and it's changed a lot in the good way. How were you able to move past all the bad influences that you had in life? I was able to move past them because it was an example. I always saw it as if that person's doing like that. Like, I had cousins who would do drugs, and their life was an example for me, so I didn't want to end up like that. Okay, so Mateo asked, who were the Albas? Why were they chasing you with Negan's bat from The Walking Dead?
Mundo. Okay. The Albas were a bunch of brothers that lived on Lovedale, which are now, we all became pretty good friends. But there were a whole bunch of brothers, man. And one day they were chasing me. This is how I met your Tio Boo. I was like, I had to be like 12, and I was being chased with a bat, and they had spikes on it, and they were gonna beat me up because I was. Yeah, they had spikes. It was like Negan. That's what he's saying. And they were gonna beat me up because I was talking shit to their little sister. I think I was talking shit to them, or I did something to little sister, and they all chased me. They chased me. I'm shit you not. I never ran for my life, but that day I ran for my life, man. And Mundo and them were playing basketball, and they saved me. And they like, what are you doing, dude? And I'm like, I don't know, man, but they're chasing me in this car, man. Y'all slack me up, please. And so they slacked me up.
And that's how y'all became friends?
That's how we became friends with Mundo. And Chuito. Shout out to my abuelos Albas. We're still friends now.
Okay, how did you deal with obstacles in her life when she started her period, when she liked her first boy?
We gave her boyfriends hell. I didn't like it.
What about my period?
Oh,
remember the first time? I still remember. I was at your house.
Yeah, I know.
I spent the night that day.
And you're like, Daddy. I was was like,
You started crying.
Shit. I cried because my baby, that was my baby, you were my baby. And now you're turning into a she-woman.
This she-woman.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, shit, man. It bothered me because you were little. It bothered me. I didn't want you to grow up.
He took me to go get pets at Walgreens.
Yeah, to really get pets.
The first time you put me in timeout, there was no such thing as timeouts. It was all ass movement.
And look, it worked.
Yeah, I turned out pretty okay. Did you have to choose working over school to support the family?
That's kind of hard to say because I didn't choose school between working because my parents always supported me and said, you want to go to school? You know, we want you to graduate, we want you to do this, we want you to go to college. And I didn't go because I was being a dumbass. I actually went to night school, tried to graduate, and I didn't graduate, and I didn't go. So, no, actually, the question is no. I just went to work to make money. I had to support a family. Yeah, I had to do, I needed money. I had to pay shit.
But then that contradicts what you just said.
What?
Because he's like, did you have to choose working or over school?
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
You just didn't want to go to school, you liar.
I didn't want to go to school. I did.
That was the last question.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, that was pretty badass.
Yeah. So this is our little story in our life that we shared with you guys.
We didn't talk about Janet, though.
Nalguitas!
We didn't talk about her.
Nalguitas!
What?
How did you,
wanna
let me ask you, how did you feel when you finally met Janet for the first time?
When I met Janet for the first time, I wasn't sure. Because she was really quiet. And Papi would always bring rowdy ass girls. Like, they were loud. So I was like, But then Janet, like, I got to know her and she was so cool. And I was like, I love Janet. Like, I love my stepmom. She's the best stepmom I've ever had.
Babe.
She's always there to support me. Always.
I'm gonna cry.
Come here.
Come here, Janet.
No.
Come here.
Just come here real quick.
That was awful.
Sometimes she just randomly comes and she knows I'm not working right now because I'm going to school full time and I take like 6 classes, which is ridiculous. And she comes and she just randomly gives me money. I'm like, what's this for? Like, she throws me off, and she's just like, just so you can have.
Yes.
Right, Nalguitas?
Yes.
Well, not just that, I mean, she's a great cook.
Who said that?
She's a great cook. No, she doesn't cook at all. She don't need to cook. I told her, when we got married, we made an agreement. You clean, I cook. And it's worked out pretty good.
Yeah, I do.
Because she's beautiful and I love her.
But then you know what he did to me? I was so bad. This is how you know I love her. Because Papi was always a hoe, okay? Like, he'd bring, like, he'd switch his girlfriends or, like, bring different girls the way he changes his underwear.
But that was different. I was lighter.
Okay, that was back then. That was back then.
I was lighter and had more glider.
Ew.
Hey,
So, no,
get it, babe?
shut
I was
up.
lighter and had it for the more glider. Ha
You're dumb. Janet, get your man. I go into Típicos, which is one of our favorite Mexican restaurants.
It's the best restaurant in Dallas, by the way.
And then I'm looking around waiting for my friend or trying to see if she's there already. And then I just see him staring at me and I'm like, and I walk over there and I'm like, Papi? And he's like, I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm like, how could you come here without inviting me in the first place? No, but he's sitting by himself and then he's like dead serious, looking me in my eye, and he tells me, I'm here with somebody. I'm like, what do you mean you're here with somebody? He's like, I'm here with another chick. I literally wanted to cry. This is not happening right now. He was like, I am, like, for real. Like, I was so mad at him at the moment, and he's like, I'm just kidding, and I sat down at his table.
Yeah.
But yeah, we love her.
Yeah, she's cool. I like this, man. I feel really refreshed. I feel like I got some shit off my chest with you, and I'm glad you did this.
I told him it would be therapeutic. This was really good, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Papi's been talking about starting something, so
We're gonna start a video too. We're gonna start a video blog where we're gonna interview
a YouTube channel.
YouTube channel. We're gonna try to get it popping and smopping. You know what I'm saying? Like you cool kids say nowadays.
I've never heard that before.
You know
But
But anyway, stay tuned. It's gonna happen.
yeah. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.
Pero lavan, deuces.